Get ready for some fortunate, lucky action, drive and willpower, bounty, and really a good sky coming up July the 31st to August the 4th. This is because Mars is forming a flowing, opportune trine with Jupiter as he moves through the sign of Virgo. And we haven't seen this kind of Mars in Virgo, Jupiter in Taurus energy as they combine forces together since 2011 and 2012 when this last occurred. And it's not a regular rhythm in this sign. It goes back before that to 1965. So you really are looking at something that's kind of sweetly rare. It will next happen in 1947, where this trine will form from these particular signs in this particular way. Now, trines of the nature of Jupiter bring luck and opportunity. Mars is action, drive, and will. So it's really just nothing but yay us. And I'm going to talk about Coxa, the star on the hip of the lion, which brings a lot of good energy to this event where Mars is sitting. And he's also sitting with the asteroid Orcus, the Etruscan god of wealth. So if that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know what will. We're going to do your sign and see how this might play out for you, July the 31st through to about August the 4th. Now, before we begin, if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian, and I am using the Western Tropical Zodiac, not Sidereal. I'm also a whole sign house astrologer. I love the minor asteroids because the devil is in the details. Check out my description box below the video under that more button. We'll see a lot of stuff I've got going on here. My Sky Raider course will be starting up in September. There's a wait list for that. If you want to learn astrology to time your best life and be your own astrologer, please check it out. Get on that wait list. Anything else I need to tell you? I've been sharing my favorite app called Aura. I do love it. Meditation, sound baths, hypnosis, and more. I have been using it since April when they gave me a free trial, and I'm a bit of a brand ambassador. I don't share them all the time, but I did talk a lot about them back in the spring. If you want to try the app out for like 7 days for free, and then if you continue because you love it and you want 25% off, that's my code for you because you found the app through me. So just check the link below for the Aura app, see what you think. It's got millions of followers. It's got coaches, guides, and people around the world. It's like on demand, Spotify for the soul kind of vibe. All right, so let's get going and talk about this sky. You know, this energy of Mars, I'm going to show you the sky in a minute before we do all signs, of Mars meeting here with the trine energy to Jupiter is an interesting combination. One of my favorite astrologers is Ren Butler, and his book, which is indispensable for all of us, is called The Archetypal Universe. And he talks about the archetypes of planetary pairs. So I decided to take a look at some of his descriptions for this planetary pair. And it's funny because when I sent this information out for my newsletter, which I send out every Saturday, and I was making my content, I just used my own instincts about, of course, you know, I said lucky action. He calls it fortunate action, but I'm going to read a bit, not very much. I'm going to read a little bit to you here. So he says, basically, in his great book, Mars Jupiter, he says, Mars Jupiter combinations are positive, exuberant energies and wholesome physical confidence, a talent for good timing and synergy, fortunate action. And so that's what we're seeing. And this is coming up bold, enthusiastic, wholesome, positive energy coming into our energy fields for all of us. Now, it's all going to be different depending, of course, on your sign and rising sign, especially for the most accurate delineation. He also says in his book, and I'm just trying to read it, sorry, the light is kind of weird. He also says some wonderful quotes. Here's one: the courage of one's convictions. The courage of one's convictions by Nietzsche is a great quote for this because Nietzsche was born with Mars Jupiter energy. And that's the philosopher who created the idea of the nihilistic philosophy. The game is afoot for Conan Doyle, and he also talks about things to do with sportsmanship, fair play, chivalry, sex as a grand adventure, and feeling positive and passionate about life. Now, because Jupiter is a god of wisdom and knowledge and truth, and Mars is the warrior, I'll add to that. You could have a kind of advocate, passionate warriorship and advocacy for truth and advocacy going on in your life or in the collective for wisdom or knowledge or truth, as Mars is in this trine from the sign of Virgo. Let's take a look at the sky so you know what this looks like. Before we do, also, let me just say, the star that is, well, let me share the sky with you, okay? That will be useful to start off with. A lot of you like to see the picture, right? So here we go. And what you've got going here is you got Mars with a star Coxa. Now, Coxa is a star in the hip of the lion. According to the delineation in my software, it is a Yan star, or Yang, like a masculine energy. I think it's really pronounced Yan, like yin and yang. And pizzazz, confidence, style, self-expression, self-display are some of the key words that are in my software delineation. Just think about a lion and the lion's hip. Lions are big, courageous, bold energy, performance, leader energy, and we've got that swinging, swaying hip. You know what I mean? So yeah. Second of all, Orcus is the Etruscan god of the underworld. Now, he can be the punisher of broken oaths. When someone breaks a vow, someone breaks their oath, Orcus can punish them. But he's also simply an Etruscan god of wealth. Now, Pluto is also a god of wealth, just so you know. And you can see that up here, we have the punisher of broken oaths, Orcus, sitting with Mars and the star Coxa, and they're all literally at 13 degrees. I mean, you cannot make this up. So I will want to grab my Sabian Symbol book and see what the 14 degrees of Virgo is, because that really does intrigue me. And so let me just do that right now. I wasn't going to use the Sabian, but when I see that power up perfection at 13 degrees, I really must. I'll get the Sabian for us in a minute. Give me a sec. I want to make a couple of notes. You can see that Mars going through Virgo is also accompanied by Lord Mercury. Mercury is the ruler, and he's exalted and in his home sign in Virgo. This kind of brings an all over goodness to this area of the sky. It gives it a sort of governorship of goodness by the Lord of the sign in his own domicile. You can see Jupiter is with Uranus, and that trine is being formed by Mars and Jupiter, and Uranus is co-present. And this can mean unexpected, shocking surprises to do with these themes of Mars and Jupiter, but they're very positive because all trines are the nature of Jupiter, just as all sextiles are the nature of Venus, squares are the nature of Mars, and oppositions are the nature of Saturn, according to the ancient tradition. Now, having this energetic flow between these elements here, Mars and the asteroid Orcus and Mercury and all of that, to whole sign flow to Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, and Pluto is backing up toward these signs, so they're moving toward each other. He's retrograde. Does seem like it could be good for some kind of financial or material resource gain for each of us in our lives in some way. Now, we're all very different, and your rising sign will delineate where this is happening in your life, and we'll get to that. And of course, you can listen for sun and moon too. In the United States Sibley chart, based on the Declaration of Independence, the USA is a Sag rising. So I've set this for Sag rising just for fun. The governing people in power, the president, the party in power, the Democrats, for example, can be represented by the 10th house. So punisher of broken oaths, Mars, advocacy warrior, truth, Pluto, I'm just going to say, doesn't always mean it's a happy story. It means it's a true story with a silver lining, no matter how difficult. So there's maybe a possibility that some kind of broken oath, some kind of, thing that the United States government or the president himself said that wasn't true, some promise that wasn't true, some truth that wasn't true, I don't know, can come to light, because Mercury rules news and information, and he's at the top of the sky with this energy. So just as a possibility, there can be a bit of that, in the news cycle, basically. And the other thing I want to say is that as Jupiter's moving through that 6th house until the 3rd week of May next year, he's trying to fortify, bonify, increase prosperity and agricultural goodness and all the good things to do with monetary systems, especially currencies. He has that tendency to do that. How will this play out in the world? Jupiter in the United States chart is in the house of the labor force, the 6th house, also debt, like the national debt. So there could be some good news coming through about the economy of the U.S., July the 31st to August the 4th, as for an example. The stock markets in the US can be Capricorn and or Cancer in the sky. So you may see some financial goodness coming, a bit of a financial blessing around the stock markets, etc. All right. Anything else I want to say about this before we do the all signs? Yeah, I want to make a couple of points to you guys. This energy of the trine between Jupiter and Mars is a part of a larger cycle called a Synodic Cycle. And that's when did Mars first connect with Jupiter in a conjunction, or last connect with Jupiter in a conjunction. And that was May of 2022. And they co-joined in the sign of Aries in the US fifth house of performers and entertainers, amongst other things. But they co-joined in the sign of Aries for each of us. And then they've been making their way around. Like Mars is the faster moving planet. So every 2 years he comes back to the same place, whereas Jupiter takes, 12 years to get back to the same place in the sky. But, I want to keep you in mind what is going on here, because it was May of 2023 that there was a square forming, a tension between Mars and Jupiter. And that square was forming with Mars in Leo and Jupiter, of course, still in Taurus. And then in July, August, now we have this trine. So this is one long story playing out in several parts. And we'll see on October 28th, Mars going into an opposition, all right, to the Jupiter placement. In that case, Jupiter, of course, still in Taurus, but at that point, Mars in Scorpio, and Mars deeply invisible in Scorpio. If you're a Mars-ruled being, so in other words, an Aries rising, especially Scorpio rising, Sun and Moon next, I suppose, you are somebody who needs to know when Mars goes visible and invisible in the sky, because you're not likely to get a lot of mojo out of your decisions, your actions, and all of that when he is invisible. So I'm going to just touch base on those dates. Mars will become invisible around September 30th, and then he will become visible again on January the 9th. So he's going to become invisible, for 3 whole months. So keep that in mind if you're an Aries ruled individual. And so there's something about that time for each of us Aries people. We should just lay low, percolate, gestate, generate, but don't try to make major life decisions, big, bold actions. It's not your best time. All right, so let's get going and use the all signs delineation and talk about what's going on in the sky. Listen for your rising sign. It's going to be more accurate. People often ask me, why is my rising sign more accurate? Because it's all about you. Every 2.5 hours, based on latitude and time of birth, the rising sign will change where you live, longitude, latitude. And secondly, basically, your moon sign is changing every 2.5 days and the sun sign every 30 days. So at the very level of uniqueness, your birth time orientation to the eastern horizon, also called your ascending sign, rising sign, is more delineating something unique to you. And plus, the rising part of you, the character you play, looks around the sky at all the other houses, and that's where the orientation of your life is. Okay, so listen for your rising for sure. If you have a stellium, like 4 or 5 planets in one sign, if the moon or sun is in that stellium, yes, you can listen for that sign as well. And please cast your chart in whole sign houses. Placidus will not work for what any YouTube astrologer is telling you. We're operating on a whole sign house assumption. Okay, I have a free video in my description box, how to cast your chart in whole sign houses. Check below. My description box gives you a link and a tutorial by me on how to do that using free online software. And lastly, before we talk about all signs, which I'm about to do, there is a secondary problem going on in the sky, and that is Mercury is opposite Saturn. It's a bit of a flashpoint, difficult news, hard news, hardship with information or news, difficult conversations. But, Mercury has the upper hand because he's in his home sign. So again, what kind of news stories may be flashing through the sky? Saturn in the US chart is in the house of the opposing party. So that would be Donald Trump and the Republicans. But that could be a story about that side of the story, or the Republican Party disclosing something that is against the Democratic Party, for example. Okay, just some examples there. Okay, I'm going to start off with Aries, and we'll get rolling through the sky. And I'm just going to stop the share. And don't forget, if you're in the live premiere and you haven't hit my like button, would you do that? It really helps the channel grow. And if you are new to my channel and you haven't hit the like button, subscribe, and notifications bell, I'm also encouraging you to do that. I think around 36,000 plus subscribers as I record a little early for my Patreon community on July the 28th. And I'm hoping to get literally to a crazy goal of 100,000 by the end of the year. I'm growing by 3,000 or more subscribers a month, which is all thanks to you guys. Really appreciate you. I also want to say something else, and I almost forgot what it was. Oh, I have a Patreon community. I have about 100 people there. And for $5 a month, what do you get? You get 2 videos, 1 or 2 meetings with me a month, depending on Zoom, with classes I teach just to Patreon. And you also get discounts on my readings, discounts on my courses, and a bunch of perks, and access to right now a learning vault with 8 classes I've taught. You get all of those classes for free to self-study for yourself. And in January, I'll be adding 8 more of next year. You'll have 16 in the learning vault. You need to join for my second tier up. So it's the sort of full moon and up tiers. Okay, enough of that business stuff. Let's get going on the all signs. I did take a look. The Sabian Symbol, 14 Virgo, rounding up, is a family tree. I'm not sure what to make of that. Maybe some of that wealth can come from your family, your legacy wealth, your ancestors. Alrighty, let's get moving. Sometimes the Sabian Symbol stuff beguile me. All right, guys, let's talk about the sky for Aries. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, look at that lovely stellium in your 6th house of work. Work routines, health routines, good old Lord Mercury in exquisite dignity. He's there till October the 4th, by the way, because he will retrograde there, giving you a lot of strength. This is really good for your work. You could be, messaging, marketing, and merchandising, markets and mercantile things are mercurial. Mercury here can be very good at helping you facilitate coworker communication and all of that, as well as perhaps have an ability to do some research and study if you need to about anything you're working on. And Mars is here with Coxa, the hip swinging lion, and the god of wealth, the Etruscan god of wealth, in this work and health house. Now, punish or broken oath. So somebody owes you money and they're never going to pay it back, and they said they would. Our Orcus will punish them because we have debts, real and literal, especially with Mars ruling your 8th house of other people's money. If someone owes you money, that is going to work on your behalf, that they may find themselves almost feeling compelled to return that money to you, especially if it's shared resources with a spouse in divorce settlements or inheritance funds for all Aries and Aries rising, sun and moon. Now, the other thing I'd say is you've definitely got this vibe of Jupiter making you prosperous and live long and prosper, more wealthy than you normally are through to the 3rd week of May next year as he trucks through the sign of Taurus. Now, I've noticed when Jupiter is in the 2nd house, he's laying golden eggs. You don't see all of the prosperity right away. There's also a bit of a theory about Mars that he gives delays in his rewards as well. So keep that in mind. Don't expect everything July 31st to August 4th. Maybe even a few days later, you can see Mars giving you some goodies financially. For all Aries, this looks like a love up on the money houses, because you've got money in that 2nd house. You've got work type money and debt repayments, etc., in the 6th house. And I would say if there's any a little bit difficult news or information coming from that Mercury opposite Saturn, it may be coming from somebody in a foreign land, a foreign country, far off place, or even somebody who is connected to international revenue and business. But for the most part, nothing like a financial glow up coming through the sky July 31st to August the 4th, and maybe with some surprises there because of the Uranus element. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, how about that Mars stellium kind of energy with Coxa, the hip swinging star of the lion, Leo, and Orcus, the Etruscan god of wealth, in your 5th house of children, romantic partners, entrepreneurial endeavors, creativity, and money luck. Yes, like winning a lottery or at the casino or some kind of speculative gaming win. Now, Mars is sitting here. He does rule your house of significant relationships in the 7th, and he could be opening up some kind of business partnership opportunity for entrepreneurial endeavors, some contractor agreement that could come through quite powerfully here, July 31st to August the 4th, and open up some kind of corridor or for wealth, money, wealth. Mercury rules buying, selling, marketing, and merchandising. You could sell a creative project. You could sell a book project. You could sell something you've been working on. You got passion, drive, and ardor, enthusiasm, and fortunate action. With Jupiter in the house of you take the action. You make the decisions. You have this grand, magnanimous, lucky dude in your house. So you are taking the aspect of that that and embodying the lucky Jupiter energy. You know, that expression, you got horseshoes up your, you know what. So you've got that right now. And basically, Uranus has some unexpected and outside the box originality to go with it. If you're an artist, a creator, an entrepreneur, you may have some really great original ideas, Mercury in the 5th house of the muse, that are really going to stimulate prosperity through creativity and fortunate action that you take. Finally, a lover, a marriage type partner, or a child could also be experiencing some of this good fortune because of this placement in your sky. Gemini, sun, moon, but most accurate, always, I would say, rising sign. This is a story where you're experiencing Mars, hip swinging lion Coxa, and Orcus, the god of the underworld, and also Punisher, broken oaths, but also wealth. In the house of legacy wealth, family of origin, mom and dad, and ancestral people. With Mercury, the god of news information, the god of marketing and selling. Some of you may be looking as a Gemini, sun, moon, rising as real estate, property deals, legacy wealth coming through your sky. Mars exalts your 8th house of inheritances and the 8th house of shared money with a partner, spouse especially. It's quite possible that you may find yourself having some luck financially through your partner, but also maybe through something to do with property, land, home, and real estate. You know, Mercury likes to buy and sell. He'll be in your 4th house to October the 4th. Mars is here and he's making some bold statements. What could Mars want? He's there until August the 27th. He may want you to move to a new place, buy a new place, sell a property, travel from home. But whatever this is about, it could incite some significant prosperity. Jupiter is in the 12th house of money and revenue from commerce with foreigners and foreign lands. If you're a Gemini and you do any of that, that's wonderful, but you can get rich from somebody from a foreign land. So keep that in mind. Jupiter rules your marriage house. Are you married to a foreigner? Are you significantly monogamously involved with someone from a foreign shore? That's an example. I think also we may be looking at some retirement energy with that 8, 12, and 4th house. For some of you Geminis, enough money to kick back and quit whatever this hard work is that you're doing with Saturn in that 10th house. A lot of you are looking like you wanted to get the hell out of Dodge. And this could be your opening July the 31st to August 4th or a little bit after. If you're in the live premiere and you haven't hit my like button, please do. All of you wonderful people, Misbehaving and L.A. Taylor and Jupiter with the Jupiter 8, Stephen the Jupiterian, Mercury with the message, Crystalline Alchemist, Herbal Empress, Purple Table Tarot, Bold and Beautiful Tarot, our soul songs, and more. Thank you for being a part of my crew. Moving on. All right, are you a Cancer sun, moon, and rising? If so, especially rising sign, this bounteous energy of fortunate action, lucky action, maybe even prosperity is starting up from your 3rd house. Now, in your 3rd house, we tend to see things like siblings, cousins, maybe short trips and travel, skills-based learning, education, writing and communicating, and your online world, especially your website and your platforms you're using on social media. It also has to do with neighbors, okay? So there could be some change going on with your sibling or neighbors because Mars is change of direction or changes, and Mercury's there holding fort until early October because he's going to be there for a long time. And it's his exalted kingdom. So he's calling the shots, and Mars is in your 3rd house until the 3rd week of August. So you may be moving to a new neighborhood. A sibling may be traveling to visit you, bringing prosperity and wealth. A cousin, something like that. You may go travel with or for a sibling, etc., or make plans to do so. But this is going to be very active, July the 31st to August 4th. There's wealth here. You got the hip swinging star, of the lion, Coxa, sitting here with the Orcus underworld god. Now, there's a Punisher broken oath quality, and if somebody breaks an oath and they're a cousin or sibling and they aren't honoring some agreement, there may be some discord, but nonetheless, it's mostly good because we have that trine to Jupiter. It can be that your sibling, especially an elder sibling, Jupiter is acting like big sister, big brother up there in the house of the elder sibling, or a friend with power could benefit you financially, and it could be very unexpected and sudden. I'll make up a story. My sister's a Cancer rising. I'm her older sister. I go into a state of great wealth. I win the lottery. I give her some of my money. That's an example, just making it up. But if it comes true, I'll let you know. you may be expanding your gains from your career as a Cancer rising, especially. I mean, we've had Jupiter in your 10th house last year, and now Jupiter since May 20 and into early 5 months of this year. And now Jupiter is giving you great career gains to the third week of any kind of career gains to the third week of May next year. And especially next April when he touches down with Uranus, that's a big time of financial uptick for you in your career path. And I don't know, this feels very much like a precursor to some of the greater goodness coming. Look for this to be kind of a signal for what you can expect next year. But Mars definitely is going to offer you some fortunate direction action involving third house matters. Now, this could also be about your website, your well, not your payment processors, your website, your social media stuff. And you're making some changes, Mars, with great intelligence and ideas, Mercury. And you're getting everything, all ducks lined up so you can be more wealthy. And you'll see some significant increase July 31st, perhaps to August 4th. All right, Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. If you are wanting to get a little bit richer, this is really good for you. I mean, who could mind the God of wealth and that confident, pizzazz, intensity of the star Coxa on Mars sitting in your second house with Lord Mercury at home in dignity until October, Mars there till the third week, the 27th indeed, of the month of August. So what's going on may be a little bit like some flashing excitement in your career, like a new job, an upgrade to your reputation, the boss favoring you, because Jupiter is like the boss in your 10th house, or somebody in power, or your power and your success as you expand in the visible part of your sky to something in terms of something you're doing that you would call your career, purpose, reputation. And with all that at Uranus, there could be some unexpected surprises, but positive coming through your sky July 31st to August 4th. I mean, it could be a raise, a promotion, a new job opportunity, an expansion of your role at work. And with Mars as the ruler of your fourth house of property, home, and real estate as well, quite possibly you may get some property, home, and real estate action going in a very positive way as well. Maybe even something to do with something you're doing in and from the home, benefiting you financially in the way you work and in the way you are showing up at work. Mercury likes to negotiate. Mars is a self-starter here. I mean, you can be very entrepreneurial from home and start a new job, career entrepreneurial now, but Mars spends when he's here. Mars is a spender. He's leaving August the 27th. He's been here since July 10th. You probably feel like you've been spending more than you like. You feel money's going out and you're not comfortable with it. However, Mercury is going to stabilize things until October 5th and bring you new ideas and new power to shore up your finances. And this looks like a beginning of that story. So look for that to happen. Again, the dates I gave you earlier. Okay, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is the energy of Mars with the underworld god of wealth and the hip swinging lion star, Coxa, and Mercury in his home exaltation kingdom. And he's in his house of his joy. This is exceptionally good for all Mercury people. Mercury ruled people, you love when Mercury comes home to roost. So you're already feeling this. If you're a Virgo rising, especially having Mercury in his joy coming home to your house allows you to be more facile in your communication, more on your game when it comes to your ideas, more focused in the way you communicate to others, and more practical about what you wish to achieve. It's kind of the practical magic of Mercury and Virgo. And Mars is giving you fortunate action. Now, Mars got into this part of the sky, right? Back in July, on July the 10th, but then Mercury caught the heck up. Thank goodness, right? We want Mercury in his kingdom. And he got there. Oh my gosh, what is the date that Mercury, I just did that video for YouTube. I mean, he got there a few days ago from when I'm recording this. Oh my gosh, is that menopause brain? But my daughter just got a great new job. She got an interview, she got a job. She's a Virgo rising just in the days since Mercury entered into Virgo. And so this is more of that. This is taking it up a notch. Like she may start the job and they give her a raise or a promotion in the next month or something to say, oh, you're too good for the salary. Who knows? So look for this feel good vibe through to October 5th, where Mercury in dignity in the house of you and his joy feels amazing. But on top of that, this is this window, right? July 31st to August 4th or 5th, even, where you're going to feel a bit of a super powered swagger, confidence, self-display, pizzazz, yang energy. You're going for it. You're taking fortunate action to achieve great results in your ninth house of education, higher education, foreign lands and travel, alignment with your truer purpose, success in your third marriage. I'm looking at Jupiter in your ninth house if you're wondering what I'm talking about. Some sudden wealth or money could even come. This is a Lakshmi house and it can involve a prosperity, but it would come from a father or father figure or an outcome in a legal matter, and you negotiate the best deal legally and in comes some money. And Jupiter up here can also mean some very positive opportunities for travel internationally to foreign shores. And if you're into the book publishing world, what a slam dunk. Best contract, best agent, best situation you ever imagined. But some luck and fortunate action and foreign lands could be also involved here. My Virgo rising friend will be traveling and another Virgo rising is moving to a foreign country. What auspicious energy can you have? A lot of fortune on that journey, but also really strong energies for some financial glow up in this space as well. Libra, sun, moon, but most accurate rising sign. This is going to feel like a money story, most likely. Now, because Jupiter is in your 8th house of chunky money, inheritance monies, until the 3rd week of May next year, with Uranus next spring, look for some real surprising chunky money, investment, stock market, your spouse's money increasing quickly, an inheritance coming to you. Those are all possible over the next year, but also in this window of time, July the 31st to August the 4th, you're looking at some kind of backroom deals and negotiations, secret conversations, aligning for your better gain in your 8th house of other people's resources. Now, it's also really good for eliminating debt. And Saturn is telling you to solidify and pay down debt anyway. So there's a lot of debt elimination, pay off the credit card, pay off the mortgage. It can happen here. Mars is the exaltation lord of your property, land, and real estate. You got Pluto power down there. Some Libras can buy and sell real estate and pay down mortgages and clean up their finances as well. The 12th house can be foreigners and commerce from foreign countries or travel to foreign shores. And so that's all very much possible for a lot of Libras, that you may be considering foreign land travel. And if you are going to travel, and Mars is here until the 3rd week of August, to a foreign country, some financial opportunity may emerge by virtue of those journeys to foreign lands. And Mercury, the protector of travelers on the road, is protecting you as you journey. And he's got a lot of significance here because he does keep you safe when you're traveling. Mars is definitely the god of adventure. So big foreign adventures are up in the air for some Libras, but why does it bring you wealth? Well, you'll find out when you go there. So look for that opening July 31st to August the 4th, or maybe even a few days after. Especially with Mars. Yeah, well, we'll go into that another time. Scorpio, Mars is your guy. Scorpio sun, moon, and rising. Scorpio is the lord of your sign. This is a wonderful time for you when Mars says something positive. Now, what is he doing? He's bumping into the star, Coxa, for all that lion energy, pizzazz, confidence, self-expression. And he's with Orcus, the god of the underworld, who has to do with wealth, the Etruscan god of wealth. Now, the 11th house is also got Mercury in Virgo, his exaltation kingdom. And this makes Mercury kind of the guiding light who keeps everybody in order and makes everything work out the way he wants, which is what we want. This whole stellium of energy, well, Mars and Virgo and Mercury and Virgo are in a sextile to you as well. So it's flowing to you in a very positive way to your Scorpio identity or sun or moon. So you can have great gains from your career, especially with the sun in Leo in your 10th. You're shining high, some great upticks, some financial gains in your career, promotions and raises and perks, etc. You may also find that this could indicate some sort of bit of pennies from heaven feeling, a windfall, especially if it comes through a friend or an ally or an elder sibling. You could be getting wealth from a sibling for sure, or an elder sibling if you're a Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising. The other energy here suggests that you may possibly have some bold, ambitious, exciting directional shift around your wishes and dreams for your life. Mercury giving you great ideas about what you want to do next to become more fluid in your wealth. Now, Mars is the ruler of your body, and this is really good for your health. And you may do social things with groups of belonging and friends July 31st to August the 4th or 5th that really make you feel good. They're fun. Mercury loves to socialize. This could be just a really good, fun time for you that really up levels your life. Jupiter in the 7th house could be the fun is with your spouse or business partners. But if you're in a kind of work environment where you have an audience, a client, or a marketplace that you serve, then that's going to give you great bounty. Jupiter can actually bring in a very important client, a very significant and wealthy client who's going to up level the gains from your career because that client favors you in some way, that customer, that marketplace outpouring. And this is really good for you and a spouse type person as well to have more wealth through co-agency or things that you're doing together. And I'm just going to go back for a minute. No, we're staying with that. Now, if you are a Sagittarius sun, moon, but most accurate rising sign. Oh, by the way, if you're in my live premiere, hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're a Sagittarius sun, moon, or rising sign, what's going on in this story is that you're experiencing this career energy, the 10th house of your reputation and career, where Mars is traveling with Mercury and star Coxa is up there along with Orcus. This is very active July the 31st through to the 4th of August, and it can bring you some real success in your career, some fortunate choices and actions you may be taking. Or somebody gets fired or leaves the workplace, Mars in the 10th, and it benefits you directly in the 6th house of colleagues, employers, employees space. This looks very much like exciting, maybe unexpected promotions, raises, or advancements, or an increase in your salary. You could also find yourself feeling very excited and by some actions you're taking or decisions you're making in your workplace that are going to align you with better health outcomes. For Jupiter is trying until the 3rd week of May next year to get you healthier. And that could be exactly what the doctor ordered. And with Jupiter, well, with Pluto in the late degrees of your 2nd house, you're coming into touch with power and wealth, and you've been working on your money fears, your ownership of power and wealth story since 2008. And I like the fact that this whole sign energy of Mercury and Mars trines at Pluto. It feels like money can really become quite a significant story for you in a good way, July the 31st through to August the 5th. All right. Are you a Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising? Then if you are, and hit my like button in the premiere, I always forget to say, please, thank you. Capricorn. Well, first thing I want to say is that Mars is the exaltation lord for your sign. He exalts in your sign. So you have a special relationship with him. When you and Mars get down, you guys are going into some really good places together. He's in the foreign shores house, right? And some of you may be moving or traveling during this time, July 31st. Well, first of all, Mars says you could have been moving or traveling with him up in the 9th house already, right? Because he's been there since July 10th and leaves on August 27th. But Mercury is the protector of travelers. He rules negotiations, ideas, selling and marketing, contracts, and he's in your 9th house. So some of you Capricorns may be going to or already are moving or traveling to foreign shores, and you can experience some wealth or financial power here. Some of this can also involve higher education for Capricorns. You may be changing schools, moving to a new school, higher education school, getting an acceptance to a school, very much like that Mercury, getting the letter that you just got into Harvard. If you're young enough for that or older and going back to school, this looks like, wow, are you ever lucky? Power, wealth, luck around that fortunate action that you took to apply. And you may be looking at the orientation towards some fantastic developments around academia. Book publishing is favored for Capricorns, and this suggestion is that Mercury is an agent or a broker or even a contract. Mars is fortune, action, wealth. Do they give you in advance? These are just ideas. Now, If you have a third marriage and you're Cappy and you're in your third marriage, these are positive developments that are wealth accruing in your house of third marriage. And with Jupiter in the fifth house, some of this can involve some fortune, money, luck. It also can involve some money coming with Jupiter in your fifth house through something that's a creative project, like a book, like a song you've written, like an art form that you've created, a muse-inspired creativity energy. Jupiter can bring luck to all your creative projects through the third week of May next year. So this is a shorter story about something good happening here in the shorter window of time that we talked about earlier. And you could get favors from friends in high places or an elder sibling because Mars is the owner of that house and is sextiling it. So don't be afraid to reach out to friends for favors during this window of July the 31st. They could advance your agenda in the ninth house. And lastly, if you have a court case you're trying to win, wow, you win it. Jupiter brings luck in the house of the fifth house of fortune, good fortune. And you end up with that flow to the house of courts, with Mars being your lawyer fighting for you, wealth coming to you, and Mercury giving you the final contract, etc. Okay, just some options. Let's see how that plays out for you. Don't forget to hit that like button in the premiere. If you do, it helps my channel grow, and I so appreciate you. All right, now we're moving to Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. I am one of you, rising sign I am, and it's best to listen always to your rising sign. You can also secondarily choose to listen to your sun and moon. All righty. I know I'm talking fast. You have a playback button to slow me down. All right. So Aquarius, first of all, we have this chunky money eighth house action that happens with Mars here every couple of years. Mars is moving through here for quite a long time. It's not since 2016 we've seen him here, but that's a whole other video I've already done. Go check the Mercury video. I mean, sorry, it's not since 2016 we've seen Mercury here in his home kingdom for 2 months, but it's really good for your money to have him here. So there's going to be a lot of good money stuff happening over the next couple of months. And now we have this fortunate action regarding money that doesn't necessarily come from your earnings, right? So it could be a stock investment, it could be money from your spouse or business partner. It could be money coming through a tax rebate, it could be money through insurance payout, money through royalty income, and more. Inheritances as well. And as you see this Mars energy connecting to the star of wealth, Orcus, the asteroid for wealth, Orcus, and Coxa, this very powerful yang star of the lion's hip with confidence and savvy and pizzazz, there's something very luscious trying to happen to do with the themes legacy wealth, prosperity through real estate, and negotiations to do with banks or finances and property. Why? Because Jupiter is, for us Aquarius, is expanding our prosperity, our wealth, and making our house of property and real estate larger than it normally is, expanding it until the third week of May next year. It's just started here in May of this year. And Uranus gives us some unexpected surprises or original developments, but that's Uranus energy really kicks in next spring. Holy man, I'm not sure what that's going to be. We'll see. An unexpected great opportunity for a new home for a lot of us next spring. But right now, on the 31st of July to around the 4th of August, expect some kind of real prosperity vibe going on here. Honestly, a parent could give you money, a family member up the legacy tree could, remember a family tree is the Sabian symbol for 13 degrees of Virgo. If anybody's going to get inheritance money of some kind, or spousal money, or spousal support money, or something like that, it's going to be you Aquarians, us Aquarians. The occult mysteries, the deep secrets are in the eighth house. And I don't know, maybe you'll uncover Mercury as a dream messenger, the dream of like the space-time continuum, how to solve quantum gravity, what the nature of reality is. All these things could happen for some of us scientifically inclined Aquarians. Mars does rule your 10th house of career, but unfortunately with that South Node transit over the last year and a half, you've been like letting go and releasing a career path. I find it curious that Mars does exalt that part of your sky. And so you may also find this chunky money helps you renew yourself into a passionate career purpose as well. And if you teach from home, this could be very prosperous as well. But again, we're not talking paychecks. So you launch a course from home and, a lot of people sign up for it or something like that. Okay, moving on. If you are Pisces, sun, moon, but most accurately rising sign, the energy here is very positive. It's all about your spouse or your business partner or some significant person, especially if you have a marketplace or audience or clients. Now, Mercury in the house of the spouse, so to speak, over here, he'll be here until October, is allowing for facile communication, negotiations, and deal making with all people, including the one you're with. But this is a house of legal contracts, and Mercury is that guy who gets those details signed up. So you could be looking at some fortunate legal contracts, Pisces, to do with trips and travel, journeys you need to take, Jupiter in the third house, siblings, especially an elder with power, Pluto, wealth in the 11th, but siblings in general. Unexpected though, and surprising as possible because of Uranus. If you have a website and you work online and you reach an audience and client base as a Pisces rising, then this could really fortify some extremely positive momentum and fortunate action in that 7th house of the marketplace. Jupiter is making you lucky in your neighborhood, in your travel, in your online world, in writing projects and communicating projects all through until the 3rd week of May next year. And this little window of July 31st to August 4th is showing you a sweet glow up. Now, don't forget, I said earlier in the video, we haven't seen this since 2011, fall, spring of 2012. So this is an unusual energy for you. Some of you could go back and think about what happened then, but this is going to bring something positive. And, possibly the idea of a third marriage or the word foreign lands or foreigners could be playing a role in some of what this positive financial or other developments are. Honestly, it can also be that some significant business or love partner in your life is going to be the one who's going to have a lucky glow up regarding some things to do with siblings or travel, and that's going to fortify some positive wealth in their life, and you get to participate in that wealth. So it may not all be about you, Pisces. It could be your significant main person that's having this experience. We always forget the 7th house is other people. It's not really about you. And that's everything. Thanks for listening. And everyone in the live premiere, still, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that notifications bell. Check my description box. Sign up for Sky Reader. It's going to start mid-September. I haven't put the shopping cart out, but you want to get on that wait list because it will fill up. And learn in 6 weeks how to be your own astrologer, time your best life. No, it's not a course to make you a professional astrologer. That could take about a year if you ask me. But anyway, I'm not want to teach that. It's too long for me and my interests. Thanks everyone for listening. Have a great day. Enjoy this ride of Mars trine Jupiter.